This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, good morning. Let's start this session. Okay, so welcome to all. In today's session, I'm going to discuss such an important concept of Java that which we have never discussed before. Okay, so whoever the students who are attending this session, according to me, you guys are lucky because usually, this topic which I'm taking now, it's not the regular sessions that we usually conduct in our classes. Okay, so today, this session is going to be more practical oriented sessions. I'm going to take you through the practical demonstration of a scenario, and in this scenario, I'm going to cover upcasting, downcasting, and also I'm going to cover a late binding and polymorphism. So today's concept is a practical concept of all these, okay? Upcasting, downcasting, and then a late binding, polymorphism. All these things we're going to understand with one scenario, okay? So be focused. After this, I suggest you also, after this session, I suggest you to practically experience this. You write the program and practice this, okay? Likewise, I will give you one or two scenarios as a assignment, so you try to work on that assignment, okay? So good, let's start this session now. So there are some prerequisites which are required to understand this topic, okay? So firstly, before I actually start with any topic, I will take you through certain programs here. So you just try to understand it. Later, I will connect that concept into the actual the topic that we are going to discuss. Okay, let's start. Now, let me explain this by writing certain code. Okay, just observe this. For example, I have a class called as pen. It's a simple class. So what are the two meanings of this? This is pen.java. What are the two meanings of it? Anything that you can say. I keep observing the chat window. If you want to ask me any question or you want to answer to my question, then probably you can message in the chat box. Okay. So there are two meanings of a class, which I many times I repeated in my classes. That one meaning, it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint. That's one meaning of a class. Another one is it's a data type. What data type? It's called non-primitive data type. Never forget this, okay? Never ever forget this. It's a data type. Which kind of data type? Precisely, it is called non-primitive data type. So these are all the two meanings of a class. All right. Now observe. Just I write one method in a class. I write a class called as demo class. The class scope starts here. The class scope ends here. Here I'm going to write a method, something, M1. Okay, try to understand it. I have a method called M1. So I create an object of the pen class, something like this. Pen p equal to new pen. Okay, return p. Try to understand. Now, so every method in Java must have a return type. That's what the fundamentals that we learned, right? So here, this method does not have the return type. Right now, I have not written any return type. So carefully observe, I'm returning p. P is a variable. What is the data type of p? Pen, isn't it? Hence, the method return type should be pen. This is extremely important, okay? Try to understand this code. I'm teaching with a very slow pace, and even I'm sometimes pausing myself, waiting myself, so that you can analyze this code, all right? Try to understand this code. Good. Now I'm going to erase this code. Okay. Now I'm going to write one more program. So imagine I have another class here called as test class. The class starts here and the class ends here. Here there is a method called m1. This method having some logic, any value, okay, just like that, I'm taking a value called 10. Finally, let's say return I. Tell me in this case, right, in the chat window, you can answer me what is the return type of this method. What should be the return type of the method? Obviously, observe, I'm returning I. The data type of I is integer, hence method return type must be integer. Clear? Somewhere, maybe in the main method, public static void main. This is main strat, this is main end. From this method, I want to call this method. Okay, I'll repeat. From this main method, I would like to call m1 method. That's called method call. Since it's a non-static method, I should call this method by using the reference. Yes or no? If the method is static method, we call it by the class name. If a method is non-static method, we call it by the reference. Let me create a reference. Reference of which class to be created? The method called m1 is present in a class called test class. Hence, obviously, we have to create a reference of test. Why the reference of test? Because m1 method is defined inside the class called test. So that's the reason I'm going to create a reference called test t equal to new test. So now I'm going to call the method t dot m1. This is how I call a method. Whenever I call a method, just be online. Whenever I call this method called m1, okay, the method the method is returning some data. Now, what is the data that this method is returning now? This method is returning me a data called 10. This method is returning a data called 10. And how would you store 10 in Java? You store the data called 10 in Java by using a variable. So of course, I need to create a variable, right? So I'm going to create a variable called something j. So I assign this way. So this is called method call. What do you call? Method call. Whenever you call a method call or method invocation, whenever we call a method, if a method is returning certain data, you have to assign the data, into a variable. Which is that variable here? The variable is called j. What should be the data type of the variable? The data type of the variable depends on the return type of the method. What is the return type of the method? Integer. Hence here, the variable type must be integer. This is extremely important, okay? Try to understand this. So purposefully, I have written it in different colors, okay? So to highlight it, this and this must be same. Never ever forget this, okay? Never ever forget this. Uh, Probably what I'll do is, let me take the screenshot of this. One second. Okay, let it be here. Let this be here. I'm going to refer this. Let me save this image in desktop. Uh, Image 1. Okay, this image is important for me. Now, similarly, let me take you through one more program and understand this program thoroughly. Okay, now I'm going to write a class called as product class. Let me write a class called product class. There are two meanings for this product class. One is blueprint, the other one is called master data type, custom data type, or user defined data type, right? So these are all the two meanings of this particular class. So what do I do now? I write another class. Let's say this is one class. I write another class. For example, I call it as test class. The class starts here and the class ends here. Okay. So in this class, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a method called M1. The method starts here and the method ends here. So the class starts here, class ends here. This is called class scope. The method starts here, method ends here. This is called method scope. Within a method, I'm going to create an object of this product class. Okay, like this. Okay, and finally, return P. Now observe, I'm returning P. Now P is a variable. What is the data type of variable? Product. So how class is a data type? Yes, in my previous sessions, I taught it that class is also a data type, which is called as custom data type, user defined data type, or non-primitive data type. So the return type of this method is going to be product. Return type of the method is product. Okay. So now I'm going to call this method now. What do we do? I'm supposed to call this method. Somewhere I write main method, public static, okay, void main with string array as an argument. This is a shortcut. Okay. I'm going to, I have a main method here. So now from the main method, I would like to call the method called M1, right? From this method called main method, I would like to call the method called M1. Observe M1 method. Is it a static method or non-static method? M1 is a non-static method. So non-static method means instance method. Instance method means object method. Hence, we need an object or object reference. And M1 is a method which is defined within a class called test class. Hence, I need a reference of the test class. Let us create a reference of test class. Test t equal to new test. Test t equal to new test. All right, now I'm going to call this method. How do you call the method? T dot, it's the method name M1. Now observe, M1 is a method which is returning an object of P. That's a reference of P, right? How do you store that? So when it is returning some data, you have to store that, isn't it? How do you store that? So by assigning this into a variable. So I have to assign this into a variable. What should be the data type of variable? So what should be the name of the variable? Can be anything. So I'm going to consider it as PR, stands for product. Okay. What should be the return? What should be the data type of this method? Let's say PR. What should be the data type of this? Same as this. So here it should be product. Okay, so in fact, we discussed it in our previous session, but still I'm just repeating it because it is such an important concept. So these two things must be same. Try to understand it, okay? The method is returning product object, hence this is called method call. Okay, whenever you call a method, if you want the data, this is called method call. Okay, whenever you call a method, invoke a method, and if that method is returning some data, then you have to accept the data by assigning it into a variable. Data type of the variable must be same as the return type of the method. Blindly this and this must be same. All right, this is important concept. Okay, and this is what we are going to use in our further session now. Fine. Just go through this program once again if you want. I'm going to pause myself. Let me also take a screenshot of it so that I'm going to compare this. I'm going to compare this with the other program which we created. Okay. Let me take the screenshot of it. I have two images now with me. Okay. Now there are some, yes, so many students have answered product is correct, 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 correct. True. Good, good. Your answer is perfectly correct. So now observe these two images that I do have. This is the first image. Okay. Similarly, this is the second image. So I do have two images. Okay. Try to understand these two images. I'll write it. I'll keep it here. Now observe. This is the first program that we had written. The first program. In this first program, what is that? The method called m1 is present in a class called test. Here also the method m1 present in a class called test. Here the method is returning integer, hence return type is integer. Here the method is returning product, hence the return type is product. That's cool. That's the similarity. Here the int is a predefined data type, primitive data type. Here product is a custom data type or user defined data type. That's my own data type, right? Similarly, here also I do have a main method. In the second scenario also, we do have main method. I'm going to call a method. Here I'm calling a method. Here also I'm calling a method. Since the method return type is product in this case, I accept it by assigning it into a product variable. So in this case, the method is returning integer, hence I'm assigning this into an integer variable. And the program is almost same, except only one fact that in this case, it is returning an integer, which is predefined primitive data type. In this case, it is returning product, which is a custom data type or non-primitive data type. Apart from that, functionally, everything is same. Just go through this two program for your understanding. Okay, now we'll use this concept in our further program. Now, let me write one program. I'm going to have a class called, now I'm going to have two classes, okay? I have two classes. One class is called sketch pen. This concept is important, the one which I'm going to teach now, okay? Another one is called ink pen. So one class called sketch pen, another one is called ink pen. So what is the common superclass for them? I'm going to write it as pen class. So pen is a superclass which has two subclasses called sketch pen and ink pen. So one superclass, two subclasses. So carefully observe, class is a data type, class is a data type, class is a data type, which is custom data type or non-primitive data type. Okay. So now, so this is a data type, this is a data type. What is a common data type for these two? Of course, pen. The pen class is extending one more common class. The what is a super common class for all these things? Object. Because in Java, object is the supermost class of all the classes, right? So this is called inheritance hierarchy. So here I would like to remind a concept called generalization. I'll repeat. I would like to remind you a concept called generalization. So generalization is a concept or a mechanism in which we represent multiple objects. We represent multiple objects by a common category. So if I create an object of sketch pen, and similarly if I create an object of ink pen, so I have one object called ink pen object, another object called sketch pen object, but I commonly call them as pen. So pen is a generalized form of sketch pen and ink pen. I repeat, pen is a generalized form of sketch pen and ink pen. Object is the very topmost generalized form of sketch pen and ink pen, because in this world everything is object. Okay, this concept is called generalization, representing different multiple objects by a common category. Here category is pen, but object can be of sketch pen, object can be of ink pen. So that concept is called generalization, and we achieve generalization by using inheritance. So here there is a superclass which has got two subclasses, nothing but inheritance. Okay, so generalization is one of the use of inheritance. So if someone asks you, I want to achieve generalization in Java, how do you achieve? We use a concept called inheritance. Okay, so remember all these things. Let's talk about a topic now, right? Now I'm going to write a class again, maybe a class called test class. Please mute yourself, mute, mute, mute. I have a class called test class. In this test class, I have a method called same old method. Okay, I'm just taking this method so that it is very easy for you to understand. The method starts here and the method ends here, let's say. Or I may need a little more space here. Okay, so I'm going to end the method here and I'm going to end the class here. So this is the end of class and this is the end of method. Okay, don't, before writing any logic, first open, close, then start writing this method. Okay, let's think about it. So depending on situation, sometimes I want to return sketch pen, sometimes I want to return ink pen. Okay, so it means to say I ask user to enter the value. Okay, if user enters one, I need to return sketch pen. If user enters any number other than one, it can be 2, it can be 10, it can be 50, any number if they enter other than one, then I should return ink pen. Are you clear now? This is my requirement. Try to understand it. So from a method, I should return either the sketch pen or the ink pen. And when should I return sketch pen? If user enters 1. If user enters anything apart from 1, it can be 0, it can be -10, it can be any number other than 1, I should return ink pen object. So how do you write the code for it? So you should use scanner here. You should use scanner here. Scanner s equal to new scanner of system dot in. The meaning is that scanner is used to take the input from the user. We know that, right? In our previous sessions, we learned it. In our programming sessions, you learned it. Scanner is a class which is used to scan whatever entered by the user. So that's why anything which comes as an input, anything which comes as an input from the system, nothing but from the keyboard, scan that. That's the meaning of it. Okay. Of course, you need to import it, but since I'm writing a pseudocode, I'm not going to import anything here, but to use this unity import. So this code we are going to see practically in our Eclipse. Okay. So just observe. Now user, I ask user to enter something. If user enters 1, or user may enter any number. Okay. How do you take the number? Integer I equal to scan dot. What is the method that we use? Chat box, in the chat box, message me. What is that method I'm supposed to use here? Yes, Naveen, only Naveen is answering. Bhavya, admin, yeah, correct, true. Okay, the method name is nextint, true, super. The method name is nextint, cool. Because the numbers that we are talking here, that's basically 1 or 0, anything, they all are the integer number. So hence we are supposed to use a method called nextint. Good. We're supposed to use a method called nextint. Okay. So now I have a variable called I, and I'm calling a method called nextint. So user may enter some data. Whatever the user enters data, that is stored in I. So you have to write an if else condition here. If I is equal to 1, two conditions, okay? I may be 1, or else it can be something. Try to understand it, okay? Only two possibility. I can be 1 or any number other than 1. So if it is 1, if user enters 1, what I'm supposed to do? I should return sketch pen object. If it is other than 1, we should return ink pen object, correct? So let's write this program. If it is 1, then I'm supposed to create an object of sketch pen sk equal to new sketch pen then finally return sk. Now observe thoroughly. What is the data type of sk? I'm returning sk. What is the data type of sk? Sketch pen. Hence, what should be the method return type in this case? Sketch pen. So method should have return type, correct? The method return type should be sketch pen. Method return type should be sketch pen. What if it is other than 1? I should return an object of ink pen. So now what do I do? If it is other than 1, that it goes to else block. Here I'm supposed to create an object of ink pen ik equal to new ink pen. I'm going to create an object of ink pen. Okay. Finally, return ik. Okay, now observe. I'm returning IK. What is the data type of IK? Ink pen, because it's a custom data type, data type, data type. Okay, this is also a data type. So in this case, what should be the return type, method return type? In this case, method return type should be ink pen. Okay, method return type should be ink pen. Now observe the funda. A method cannot have more than one return type. We know that in Java, method should have only one return type. But in my case, I should write either ink pen or sketch pen, because a method cannot have more than one return type, right? So here observe carefully. If 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 the method return type is sketch pen, it satisfies only this condition, but it will not satisfy the second condition. Okay, super. If the method return type is ink pen, then it is going to satisfy the second condition, but not the first condition. Able to understand now? So now inevitably, it's like, I don't have choice also. I have to use one return type which works with, which satisfy both the condition. So now I'll repeat once again. If the return type of the method is sketchpen, it satisfies the first condition. If the return type of the method is inkpen, second condition is satisfied, but not the first condition. So I'm looking for one data type which satisfy both if as well as else condition, right? So inkpen is a data type, sketchpen is a data type, correct? It's a data type, it's a data type. What is a common data type for these two? Okay, pen is the common data type, or object is the common data type. Are you clear? So that's why instead of writing here ink pen or sketch pen, I'm going to commonly write this. I need a common data type for this. Okay, that common data type, I'm going to consider it as pen. I'm going to write it as pen because pen is the common data type. Now observe, method return type is pen. Method return type is pen, but it is actually returning either sketchpen object or inkpen object. That is, object is from sketchpen object is from sketchpen class or from inkpen class. Nothing but these two are the objects of subclass, but it is represented in the superclass form. Understand? Return type is superclass. The objects are from subclass. This is the catchy thing here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me take again the screenshot of it and I'm going to save it in another image. Okay, so because very often I'm going to change these programs, that's why I want this program for further reference. Okay, let me save it as pen scenario somewhere in my desktop. I'm going to save it as pen scenario. So I have this image for my further reference. Let me close this. Okay, what we'll do now, let me write the program for this scenario. Okay, because I have written the program just and explain on the white screen. Now I'm going to practically execute this program. Okay, just observe. I'm going to call this as a new project. I'm going to create a new Java project. I call it as pen scenario. The project name is pen scenario. So I need to, I just close other projects for better readability. So I'm going to create a new class called as pen class. I have one common superclass called pen. Now I'm going to write two subclasses for this. One subclass is called sketch pen. Okay, sketch pen must extends pen. Must extends pen. Okay. Similarly, I'm going to write one more subclass called ink pen. Ink pen. Now observe, ink pen extends pen. Nothing but is a relationship. Ink pen is a pen. Sketch pen is a pen. So and the common superclass called pen. So I have created three classes. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another class called as test class. I'm going to create a class called as test class. Okay. In the test class, what is the method name there? Do you remember? Okay, method name is M1, right? Cool. So I'm going to write a method called M1. So let me use scanner here. Scanner is present in util package, hence we should import it. Okay. Scanner is equal to new scanner of system.in. Anything which comes as an input from the system, nothing but the keyboard, anything which comes as an input from the system resource, one of the system resource is called keyboard, and try to scan it. Okay, that's the meaning of scanner. So I ask user enter input, enter input. So how the input should look like? The input should look like this. If you want if you want sketch pen, then you should enter what? 1. Otherwise any number. So if the user wants sketch pen, then the user should enter 1. Otherwise any other number. Any other number. Okay, good. Now so integer I equal to scanner dot extint. So the user is going to enter the integer value, hence I'm going to store it in an integer. So now if condition, if I equal to 0, sorry, I equal to 1. If user enters 1, observe, if user enters 1, I need to return sketchpen object. So create an object of sketchpen, equal to new sketchpen, and finally return sk. Okay, else condition, if user enters any number other than 1, any number other than 1, then I should return ink pen object, right? Ink pen ik equal to new ink pen. So finally return ik. Mute your microphone, please. So data type of sk is sketchpen, data type of ik is ink pen. Sketchpen is a class, ink pen is a class. The common superclass for all this is pen, right? So scanner is something which you need to close once you use it. Okay, I just say s dot close. Even if you don't close this, it does not give any error, but it's a good practice to close it. Okay, now observe this code. This is the code. This is the kind of program that I explained before, almost same. I have written only some system.out.println here in the scanner so that user come to know what is the value that the user should enter. Okay, compare this with this. The common superclass. Okay, pen is the common superclass. Whatever I have explained for that, I have written a program. Now this is a non-static method. This is the non-static method. The non-static method is also technically called as instance method or object method. Hence, to call this method, we need an object. All right. Now let me, okay, fine. So go through this program. Okay, let's start. Let me call this method. Let's see how to call this method. I'll explain this scenario by taking, now try to understand this. So I have a class called, what is the class name? My class name is test class, which has a method called M1 method. Okay. So 1 second, please. Sorry, there was a noise here, so I had to stop. I had to mute for a while. Okay. Now I hope you're able to see my screen. So method name is M1, which is present in a class called test class. So hence, if I want to call this method, what is really required for me? I need to create an, so for example, I have public static void main. Okay. I have a main method. So to call that method, since M is present inside a class called test and it's a non-static method is called as instance method is called object method. Hence we need an object. Let me create an object of it. Okay. Test T equal to new test. So I have created an object of test class and I'm going to call now T dot, this line is important guys, T dot M1 T.M1. I'm assuming that the method name is M1. Let me anyhow cross verify it. Yes, method name is M1. I'm going to call this method called M1 method. So M1 method is returning some data. M1 method is returning some data. And how do you accept that data? By assigning this into a variable. By assigning this into a variable, what should be the variable? Any name. What should be the data type of the variable? Must be same as the return type. What is the method return type here? Method return type is pen. Observe this. The method return type is pen here. Can you see this here? Observe here. The method return type is pen. Hence here also I should write it as pen only. This is important, okay? This and this must be same. This is what I demonstrated in my previous program. If a method was returning integer, you should accept it as integer. If a method is returning product, you should accept it as product. So now method is returning pen, hence you should accept it as pen. Okay. So basically this line of code is called method call. What do you call this as? Method call. Method call or method invocation. Whenever you invoke a method and if the method is returning some data, you should accept it in a variable. What should be the data type of the variable? Must be same as the return type of the method. Okay. The return type of the method is pen, hence I should accept it as pen. Now observe, actual game starts now. Okay. Now observe this. I'm going to again pause it for 10 seconds. I expect you to go through this program. Any questions until now? Bhavya, Navita has asked a question. Is it mandatory to use S dot close? Not mandatory, Amma. It's a good thing because scanner is considered as a costly resource. If you don't close it, the performance of the application comes down. So that's why if you don't want the performance to go down, you better to close that scanner. Okay. Even if you don't close the scanner, no error, it works. The program works. Good. Students are replying saying that no, 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 no questions, no doubts. That's cool. Let's start. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue our session. Now, fundamentally, we understood when a method is returning certain things, so we have to write a code like this, right? Now, let us understand only this code. This is extremely, extremely important. Let's understand only this code, okay, this line of code. Okay. Now, think about it. Hold on for a while. Observe carefully this line of code, method call. The method probability is that the method may return an object of sketch pen. So this method, if you in this method, inside a method, we have written a logic in such a way that if user enters 1, then the method is going to return what? Sketch pen object. It means to say, in case of 1, this method is going to return which object? It's going to return sketch pen object. So it's going to assign for P, it's going to assign an object of which class? This is an object of sketch pen class, okay? This is an object of sketch pen. In which case it is going to be sketch pen? If user enters 1. If user enters 1, this is going to be an object of sketch pen. It means to say the method is going to return, the method is going to return an object of sketch pen. By chance, if the user enters anything apart from 1, let's say user enters 5, user enters 10 or -3, anything if user enters other than 1, then what object has to be returned? The method has to return an object of ink pen, right? Anything other than 1. If user enters any number other than 1, it is going to return an object of ink pen. If user enters 1, then it is going to return an object of sketch pen. Okay, so if you consider this scenario called A, sorry, this is called A, let's say this scenario is called B. Okay, let's consider scenario A. If it is scenario A, how the program look like? The program look like this: pen P equal to, observe, pen P equal to, which object is going to be there? Sketch pen. So the program looks like this: new sketch pen. Very clear? If scenario B, how the program look like? The scenario B, pen P equal to, which object? Ink pen object. It's like this: new ink pen, object. So basically, in A condition or B condition, reference is from superclass, the object is from subclass. I agree that you are not creating an object in this line of code, but this method is going to return that subclass object, isn't it? The method is returning either sketchpen object or inkpen object. If a method is returning inkpen object, the program look like this. If a method is returning sketchpen object, the program look like this. Observe, the reference is from superclass and the object is from subclass. In this condition, It is called upcasting. So whenever I write a code like this, you guys understand, oh, it's very easy. The object is from subclass, reference is from superclass. But directly, we may not write the code like this in the project. You understand now? In the project, I may not write the code like this directly. So indirectly, when I write a code like this is also nothing but upcasting. You got it now? So this is called upcasting. Pen P reference, but this method is returning either sketch pen object or ink pen object. In both the cases, it is going to be upcasting because reference is from superclass. This right side object is going to be from subclass, nothing but upcasting. So you understand now? So upcasting is inevitable in many situations of the project. Understand this code, okay? Again, I'm going to pause myself for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, try to understand this code. So now question time. Yes, Srijit, if you don't use close method, scanner, it gives you a warning. Eclipse gives you a warning asking you to close that. Says that costly resources must be closed. Okay, good. Let us write the program for it. So I write a main method. I can write main method anywhere that my choice. I call it as I'll write a class called as pen test, the public static void main. So this is a method which is present in test class. Hence, I'm going to create an object of test class with a reference test t equal to new test. Okay, t dot m1. So I'm going to call a method called m1. So whenever I call a method called m1, since it is returning some data, what is the data it is returning? Pen p. This is how it is. Okay. Now let me print p. Observe. Let me print p. P is a reference which stores an address of the object, correct? Let us see what is the object it is going to be. Let me run this program. Now it is asking, enter the input. If you want sketch pen, enter 1, otherwise any other number. Let's say I'm going to write a number called 11. If I write any number other than 1, what is the output? Ink pen. Observe this code. In this code, enter the input. If you want sketch pen, then enter 1. Otherwise any other number. So if user enters 1, it returns an object of sketch pen. Otherwise it returns an object of ink pen. In my case, what is the number that I had entered? 11. 11 is not 1, hence it is returning an object of ink pen. Observe this code. It is returning an object of ink pen. Similarly, I run the program once again, and now I'm going to enter 2. If I enter 2, or let's say -2, now observe it is returning ink pen because it is not 1. Now this time I'm going to enter 1. Let's say I hit enter. So it's going to return an object of sketch pen. Observe sketch pen at the rate this. Okay. So basically the program returns, if I enter 1, it is going to return sketch pen object. Otherwise it is going to return ink pen object. And that object returned by this method is assigned to this particular variable. Hence this line of code is called as what? Upcasting. This is called upcasting. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll ask my team to upload this video because this is extremely important video. So don't make a note while listening to this video. Okay. Uploading will take a little time. So by end of the day, you can expect this video. Okay. So today itself, once again, you can repeat this video, go through these programs, try to practice these programs. Okay. Hmm? So this line of code is upcasting. But if suddenly someone looks into this, sir, where is the object of subclass? I got the reference of superclass, but where is the object of subclass? This method is going to give you the object of either this or this. Observe, the method is returning either the sketchpen object or the inkpen object. That gets assigned to this superclass reference, hence it is called upcasting. This line of code is called upcasting. All right. So if you have any questions, you can again ask me the question here in the chat box. Pallavi asked me to repeat. I think I just repeated it, Pallavi. Sony is asking a question. Yes. For Sony asked me a question to print the reference. Yes, I printed the reference and demonstrated it. Viz is asking questions. Sir, is it possible to upload yesterday's videos also? Viz, yesterday's video, I didn't record it. Honestly, let me be very frank. I forgot to record yesterday's video, so I could not upload. But today's video I'm recording, so this is going to be uploaded. Okay. Any other questions, you can post it in the chat box. And this is extremely important concept. Okay, I'm repeating it. See, when I'm continuously repeating important means there is definitely something important in this. Okay, don't neglect this concept. Okay, if we override toString method and print object reference. Okay, okay, fine. You're going to override this method. Fine, let's say. I'm going to override the toString method here. Let me return something. What is this? Sketchpen. Similarly, we'll override the same thing even in, where is that? I'm going to override even in the inkpen. Okay, inkpen. Now when I run this program, of course it is going to print the value written by that particular method. Okay, now I'm going to enter one. If I enter one, sketchpen. So see, observe, I'm sketchpen. Okay, I made spelling mistakes. Instead of pen, I made it as pen. Okay, got it. Just like this, observe. So now again I run. I'm going to return some value, let's say 23, which is not a 1. So when the entered number is not 1, it is going to return an object of inkpen. So hence, since I've overridden a method called inkpen, in the inkpen class I've overridden a method called toString method, it is going to return an inkpen. I think I answered your question. Oh, someone with the name Sake, S-A-K-E, I don't know how to pronounce. They're asking a very vague question, very vague question, and it's a simple question. This is not the time to ask such silly question. Can I create an object inside a method? Then where else do you create an object? Okay, fine. Harsha is asking a very good question. What if the data type of SK and uh, SK and IK as pen, right? That's a good question. Observe here. In this, instead of like this, giving a reference of sketch pen, you can also give the reference of pen. Here also you can give a reference of pen. This is perfectly fine. The program works the same. It means to say this line of code itself is upcasting here. Pen sk equal to new sketch pen, pen ik equal to new ink pen. This is perfectly correct program. It also works the same. Your sk data type is pen, ik data type is also pen. Here upcasting, you are writing the upcasting code here itself. It works properly. Harsha, it works properly. Okay. Okay, Sony is telling super, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Sony. Okay, Vijay, first of all, methods can be written only inside a class. So your question is like where the method gets stored if I write the method inside a class. See, first of all, you need not to use the ask the question as if, because you have to write a method only inside a class. That's the first thing. Second thing, the methods are stored always in the method area. Okay, done. Super. Any other questions? Please chat in the chat box. Ask the question. Shall we execute similar one more program with the scenario so that you get the super clarity on this? Admin and Vijay is saying no, 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 no. For what? I didn't understand. Are you saying no to my another scenario, or for which thing you said no? I could not sync up. Yes, one more example with real-time example. Okay, Harsha. Okay, so I'll get you one more real-time example on this. Okay. Good, 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 good. Fine, fine. Let me explain one more real-time example. Listen to me carefully. Okay. I'm going to close all this program. Close all the program. Let me explain you one more scenario. Try to imagine that you have something called, one second please. Yeah, okay, sorry guys. Let's see one more scenario now. We're going to talk about, let me take an example of a vending machine. Okay, you know the vending machine, right? Let me take an example of vending machine. Let's say I have a vending machine. This is a vending machine. Okay. This is called power button. This is another power button. So here it is for coffee. Here it is for tea. This is for tea and this is for coffee. Similarly, you can have anything else. Okay, you can have even one more button for milk, or one more for water, whatever it is. Okay, this is a vending machine. So let's say, just to think about it, okay, just to make this example very simple, let's say here if someone press this button, let's say this button called 1, this button is called 2. So if someone enters a button called 1, it's supposed to give you which object? Coffee object. Let's say you're going to enter 2. Let's say you're going to enter 2. Then which object should be written? Tea object must be written. Okay, so you have a vending machine. Vending machine has a method called press button. Press button. If when you press the button, if user enters 1, it is going to give you coffee object. If user enters 2, it's going to give you tea object. It's going to return tea object. Are you clear now? So coffee is an object, tea is an object. The spelling called tea, it is string. Okay, spelling called coffee is string, but in reality, coffee and tea is an object. Try to imagine this. Okay, do you when you drink tea, do you drink alphabets called TEA? No, it's a tea object. It's a coffee object. Hence, it's an object. So object means it's a class. All right. So understood this scenario. So we're going to write a program for this scenario. Hmm? So coffee is an object. Tea is an object. To create an object, what is required? We need class. In Java, we know the fundamentals that to create an object, we need a class. So let's write the class. Let me write the class here. Here, I'm going to create a new Java project called as vending machine scenario, vending machine project. Okay, so let me close this old project. I write a class called as coffee. I have a class called coffee. Cool. I'm going to write one more class called tea. All right. I have another class called tea. So tea is an one class, coffee is another class because I need an object out of this. Okay. Now let us. Vending machine is also an object. Hence, vending machine is also a class. Vending machine. So what is the behavior of vending machine? Vending machine has a behavior called press button. Vending machine has a behavior called press button. Try to visualize when I'm explaining, try to visualize it. There is a vending machine. The user is going to go and press the button there. All right. So when the user enters the button, we let us use scanner. Scanner scan equal to new scanner of system.in. It is scanner is used. Again, I'm telling you, repeating you, scanner is used to scan the input entered by the user. Okay. Now we can ask user enter the choice of drink. Enter the choice of drink. What are the choice of drink? One for coffee, two for tea. So user is supposed to enter either one or two. If user enters one, so the vending machine has to give them the coffee. If user enters two, the vending machine has to give tea. Okay. In both the situations, coffee is an object. Tea is also an object. Let me create an object out of this now, right? So, okay. First, let me scan the value entered by the user. So integer choice, user choice, integer I or any variable equal to scan dot next int. So user is supposed to enter either one or two. In that case, I'm going to store it as choice. Now, if user entered one, then what I should return? Coffee object. So coffee cf equal to new coffee and finally return cf. Now observe. So if user is going to enter one, the vending machine is supposed to return coffee. What is the data type of CF? The data type of CF is coffee. Hence the method return type should be coffee. Super. What if enters other than one or maybe two or other than one? Else, what I should return? I should return t object. T equal to new t return t. Now tell me what is the data type of t? The data type of t is t. Hence, method return type should be t. Okay, now we are finding the serious problems here. Because in Java, the method return type should be only one, right? If user enters one, the vending machine has to return coffee. Vending machine has to return coffee. In such case, the return type should be coffee. If by chance if the user enters 2, the vending machine should return tea. In such case, the return type should be tea. But I cannot write coffee or tea both. If I write coffee, it, it works or satisfies only this condition. If I enter tea, it satisfies only second condition, not the first condition. Correct? No? So I need one common return type for these two. I want one common data type which satisfies both coffee as well as tea. That's why what I'm going to do now is this. So we have two classes. One is tea class, another one is coffee class. Hence, I write one common class called beverage. This is called generalization. You got it now? I write a common class called beverage and I make sure coffee extends and tea extends beverage. So this is the common superclass for coffee as well as tea. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is let me write one common class called as beverage. I've written a common class called beverage. So I'll make sure tea extends beverage. Now tea is a subclass of beverage. Similarly, coffee also subclass of beverage. Now coffee is a beverage, tea is a beverage, and beverage is a common superclass for tea as well as coffee. Hence here, instead of coffee and tea, I'm going to write this as beverage. So it means to say the method return type is beverage, but it is going to actually return either the coffee object, nothing but subclass object, or the tea object, nothing but the subclass object. So method return type is superclass, but it is returning subclass object, right? So this is the fundamental concept. Some realistic example, okay? Here scanner should be closed after the use, otherwise it's not giving you any compilation error. It is just showing only warning, and it's better to close it. Now there is no warning, okay? If you don't write it, it gives you a warning saying that, see, resource leak. It means to say there is a leakage of the resource. Okay. What about this resource? You will understand in IO serialization chapter. I will talk about what is the meaning of costly resource, what is the meaning of resource leakage in my IO class. There is a separate chapter called IO serialization. At that time, I'm going to talk about that scanner in detail. Okay. So this is one realistic situation where there is a method in a class and method return type is superclass, but the method is actually returning subclass object. Okay, now very important, let us write the main method here. Let's say user. I'm going to write a class called user class with the main method. Now user wants to drink either the coffee or the tea. So for a user, what is required? Vending machine is required. So let us create an object of vending machine. Vending machine VM equal to new vending machine. And vending machine has a method called press the button. Let us press the button. Vending machine dot press the button. Pretty simple. You're calling the method of one class. Okay. So press button is a method present in a vending machine class. Hence I'm calling that method. Okay. When you call the method, observe what is the method return type? Beverage. When a method is, when you press the button, it is returning beverage. How do you accept? Now, try to visualize this, guys. Try to visualize this for 2 minutes. Okay, let's imagine that you want to drink either the coffee or the tea. So what do? You go to a vending machine, press the button, and you are making a choice of whether you want coffee or tea. When you press that button and make a choice of one or two, that is coffee or tea, it is going to give you that object. Don't you take that object? Do you simply keep observing when it returns? No, you take that object written by that vending machine, isn't it? So it means to say, I need to assign beverage be equal to, observe this, okay? The method return type is beverage, and I'm taking it as beverage. When a method is returning a data, accept it. This is what I have explained here in this scenario. Not in this scenario. in this scenario. A method is returning product. When you call such method, when you call that method, you are accepting it is same. This is the same exact same program that I have written it here. You are calling a method and a method is returning beverage. You should accept it as beverage. Now observe here. You can print B here. You can print B. You run this program. Let's say now I want coffee. Now what is the number that I should enter? I should enter 1. So when I enter 1, observe it is returning me coffee object. Same program I return, let's say I return 3. Ideally for uh, T I should enter 2, but in my logic I have just simply used else condition. So if you enter any number other than 1, it is going to give you T object. So hence I have since I have entered 3, it is going to give me T object. Even if you enter 100, it is going to give you T object. Any number that you enter other than 1, it is going to return you T object. Okay, so this line of code is actually called, this line of code is actually called as what? Upcasting. Upcasting. How? Let me explain. I have one date, okay, wait, desktop data images. Super, observe this. Here, there is a method, vending machine. Observe this code. Press the button is a method. Here I have used a method called give. Okay, method name can be different or same. So beverage B equal to vending machine dot press the button. Here I have taken it as give. Okay, just treat that it is a press button method. If you press one, the method is going to give you which object? Coffee object. The object returned by this method is coffee. If you enter other than 1, then the method is going to return T. So it means to say reference is from superclass, right side object is either from the coffee or from the tea, nothing but subclass object. Reference is from superclass, object is from subclass. Here also reference is from superclass, object is from subclass. So this is called as what? Upcasting. These both the line of code is called as upcasting. Okay, so this is the line of code. This is the line of code that we have written, but this method is going to either return coffee object or it is going to return tea object, which are nothing but subclasses of beverage. Hence this line of code is considered as upcasting. Are you clear? Done. I'm reading all the questions. Good. Harsha, when you will discuss exception and collection topics? Okay, very late, not now. I think I have explained much more about this upcasting, realistic uses of upcasting. Now, without your knowledge, you have learned the fundamentals which are required to understand runtime polymorphism or late binding. So now, to understand late binding and runtime polymorphism, it just takes 5 minutes for you now. Okay, it just takes 5 minutes for you. It becomes so easy for you. In 5 minutes, you learn polymorphism because you have already learned this real-time uses of this upcasting. Yeah, Pallavi is asking, instead of beverage class, can we take object class? Yes, Pallavi, it works. But too much of generalization is not good. Design-wise, too much of generalization is not good, but it works perfectly. Yes. Any other questions, please ask me. Okay, thanks for participating in this session. I'm done with today's session. Okay, I'm going to upload this video. Please go through this video. This is extremely, extremely important. Okay. Thank you very much for participation.